Talking openly in our homes about eating and its impact on our health is really important, but sometimes as parents we avoid talking about food with our kids because we're worried about eating disorders. Talking with your children about food will not cause them to develop eating disorders. Talking about food in appropriate ways can foster open communication about nutrition, healthy eating, sometimes body image, and the more that those things are out in the open, the better. A helpful way to broach this conversation is to frame it around the value of health. Instead of talking about your child's tendencies, especially being a picky eater, their behavior or non-compliance with family's expectations around eating, and lastly, not framing it in terms of the way that food makes us look or feel about our appearance. Some strategies for talking with children rather than to or at them about this topic include using matter-of-fact and objective language. Healthy foods, very simply, are the ones that our bodies need in order to function properly, to grow, and to have energy. We can use eating challenges with our kids as opportunities to teach and talk to them about nutrition, the impact of different foods on our health. Kids, even at a very young age, are capable of understanding the importance of different foods on different aspects of their health, to help them fight sickness, to grow, to have energy. You can teach them, even at a very young age, about the different food groups and the importance of eating foods that are representative of each. Our kids are going to push back. We all do occasionally. Our best shot at being intentional is to know ahead of time how we want to respond. I want to encourage you to use preference language, and I'm going to sound like a heretic in this age of social media, but I want to encourage you to avoid using the words like and dislike. Tastes are not static. They are not permanent. The language that we use should reflect the fact that our tastes and preferences change over time. So when your child takes the second bite of fish, pushes it away, and says, "I don't like this," your response can be a very gentle reframe, such as, "Oh, you don't prefer that today." This communicates that we do understand and respect their current preferences, and we also accept the fact that they might change in the future. This sets you up to be able to encourage your kid trying new things in the future or trying old things anew without seeming dismissive. It's inevitable that our kids are going to resist trying some of the foods that we put before them. And when that happens, I want you to try as much as possible to use invitation rather than insistence language. We can align with our kids by listening as they identify what it is about the food that they're hesitant about. Is it the smell, the look, the texture of it? When we engage in that conversation and listen well, our kids feel understood. They know that we're not ignoring or minimizing their preferences. That then allows us to enter into a conversation where we can talk really directly about the importance of experiencing things in order to know what our preferences are. Remember, tastes and preferences change with time, so we really can't know what our current preferences are unless we try it. So buddy, I know that last time we tried this, you didn't prefer the fish, but I want you to take a couple of bites today to see if your body prefers it now. We can do this without being confrontational, without working to prove our kids wrong, or forcing them to change their opinions. Again, we can be most intentional when we enter these conversations prepared. I cannot underscore enough the importance of co-parents being aligned in establishing ahead of time what the expectations are for their kids' eating habits, and then communicating those expectations very clearly to kids. Some areas to consider as you enter into that conversation together would be, are kids permitted to turn certain foods down? Are they going to be required to taste foods, or can they just outright refuse them? Are you going to allow substitutions, and if so, when and how? What amount of each dish is sufficient for your child to be considered finished? Is that up to your kid to decide when he or she is full, or do you determine when you feel like they've had the right amount of each nutrient? What's your dessert or sweets policy? And how are you going to handle kids not finishing meals and then requesting snacks or desserts later? As you enter these conversations ahead of time with your co-parent, I want to recommend that you refer back to the earlier conversation about nutrition and about health. Focus on the importance of each body getting the nutrients that it needs in order to function properly before filling in with the less healthy options. I have lots of suggestions for tackling these as well as other questions related to children and eating, so please reach out if a direct conversation would be helpful. There are additional general parenting resources available on my website, and there are some short videos on this YouTube channel about different topics related to parenting and kids that might also be useful.